All right, here we go. The mighty return of Mob James to VladTV.
James McDonald on Vlad.
That's right.
All the time.
That's right. It's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been over a year.
Been a minute.
Yep. And not because we don't rock with one another, but just life.
Yeah.
It's just gotten in the way in
Exactly.
terms of scheduling and everything else like that.
I've been having a lot going on, so
yeah.
I ain't been able to really.
That's what it is, man. But we always rock with you.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room first.
Let's go.
The whole paperwork situation.
Okay.
So, you tell me what happened, what's going on, and where it's leading.
Well, pretty much didn't know what happened. Well, I mean, motherfuckers been saying it. I got tired of them, listening and hearing the shit. Do what you got to do. Show me the paper. Show me this. Show me that. So, whack. I don't even want to mention these dudes' name, but certain individuals got to start talking that shit and saying certain things. So, me, it's like I'm fed up with it. So, here come this other dude saying he got yada yada paper on me. Okay, the shit that he come up with, it don't have my name, it don't have Mob James this, Mob James that, James McDonald, none of that shit. So after it all come out, I'm more pissed off. I'm more on the retaliating shit because it's one thing to attack me, but then now you attacking James McDonald. I ain't talked to you cats. Mind you, I left the hood after my brother was killed, and then, all the way up until now, even with my podcast, I don't speak on these cats. So this paper, oh yeah, he did it, and then the shit he was saying, it kind of pissed me off, but then I said, I got too much to lose, you know what I'm saying, Vlad, to put myself out there for something I know that's not me. You know what I'm saying? At that time of 2000, he's saying, I did him like this. I ain't been to prison since 1988. I had a case in 92, which I sat in jail till it was over and done. And I got an accessory after the fact on that one. My little homie went to jail for the case. And I got accessory after the fact on that. So other than that, I haven't.
Well, let me interrupt you real quick, because this whole accessory after the fact has sort of been in the news a lot recently. So explain to everyone what accessory after the fact means and what it meant in your particular case.
The way they put it is basically you're not the actual person that committed that crime, but you're there. So if you don't turn somebody in on that crime, then it's basically you was there, but you weren't the one that did it, but you're going to get some time. You're going to get something.
So you're required by law to make a citizen's arrest or to call the police if you see a crime? You can't just go the other way and say
no.
That's
no.
Really?
No. We were together. So that's where it all comes in.
Okay. So if you're just a regular pedestrian walking down the street and you see something and you don't say nothing, you can't get charged for that.
No.
But if you're with the person,
And I go home and we wake up and I don't call the police and call in on that case, on that what happened. Don't turn that person in. It's basically accessory after the fact. We know you was there with him, but you didn't turn him in. So we did our little time on that. And after that, I haven't seen a jail. I didn't have a reason, I got brothers, my mothers, my sisters, my whole family in Compton. So I know I wouldn't play a game like that. Everything I've ever did, my sister right out there at the door, she'll tell you, I never been bailed out of jail. My mother and father never bailed me out of jail. My other two brothers they have put up the house the whole nine. So it was all bullshit. And then, with, such and such said or wanted to do you like this or coming at you behind Gangster Chronicles. This internet shit has got out of hand and, I really didn't even want to bother with it. So I went on Bomb First to speak on this shit. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get my well after Wagner came in on it. Just a whole bunch of hollering bitches, and you can't talk. Why everybody else want to talk? So I basically hung up from that because I'm not finna do no hollering match, none of that other bullshit. And I just stood back. You know, people don't know me. All these people coming and all these people on Facebook talking this nigga, that, this nigga, they don't know me. They never hung with me. They never kicked it with me. This dude whack. Never seen him a day in my life. Never dealt with this dude. Never would. You know what I'm saying? Never would. So I just went into doing me, kicking back. I didn't want to do no shows. I didn't, you know, I was pretty much mad at the world. You know what I'm saying?
But there's a guy who actually did a couple of interviews, I think. Was it FG or something?
Uh-huh.
And he's the one that claims that you told on him and
Right.
he has paperwork on you and everything
Right.
else like that. I mean, other people have chimed in, but this seems to be like the main guy.
Well, even with him, you know, he said what he said, but or he felt that it had to be Mob James because I felt a certain kind of way about my brother being killed. And when I pretty much explained to these niggas, my brother didn't get killed until 2002. You say I fucked with the police on you in 2000.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what reason do I have to deal with you like that? You know what I'm saying? I'm living my best life. So I think at that time, you know, I had bagged away from death row. You know what I'm saying? And if I'd have got in any trouble, death row would have been my best lick, and I would have got paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at that time they had the FBI on all of these dudes, on everybody that was with death row. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was talking to the FBI at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I took my sister with me, so we didn't have no problems, no issues, no nothing. So, you know, it all boils down to this. People gonna think what they want to think. People gonna say what the fuck they want to say. It don't matter to me.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, that FG interview was with Alex Alonso on his YouTube channel, and Alex Alonso is essentially a disgruntled ex-employee of, the Gangster Chronicles. So obviously there's a motive for this type of thing. Alex has gone out of the way to talk a bunch of shit about me as well.
Right.
I don't know what the chip on this dude's shoulder is. I could really care less about who this is.
Well, when you look at it, and the way these dudes is acting and the way they carry themselves today, everybody is a fucking rat anyway. So when you start accusing, they don't understand the concept of something or really what it is. Even with Alex, I had no problems with that dude. I've tried to get him back to Gangster Chronicles. I've tried everything I could do to get him, but he didn't want to come back because he didn't want to work with Norm. So when I seen him doing an interview, like, man, this your loyalty to me, this a friend, whoop whoop, and I wouldn't have expected him. So it just made me sit back and say you can't trust nobody. You know, this dude was at my mom's funeral. I didn't know him from jack shit. He showed up to the funeral. He took pictures. You know, I thought he was real cool. Next time I saw him, he walking up, we about to do the Gangster Chronicle. And then he became one of us. You know what I'm saying? When that brother had issues, I'm like, I'm ready, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it just made me look at people different. Like, just pretty much go back to the old me. Fuck these cats. Just back up and stay away from them.
I mean, the unfortunate part about, gaining a certain amount of fame and getting followers and views and everything else like that is that you become a target for other news outlets to basically
And that's fine.
get views off of you. Like for example, with me, for 2 days, my name was trending because there was a fake article in AR Abs. You know, AR Ab was facing a serious case at the time, and there was a fake article saying that the judge in AR Ab's case personally thanks Vlad for helping to convict him. And it was like from a news outlet no one had ever heard of. There's just a random picture of a white judge. You know what I mean?
Hey, Reggie told me best. All you got to do is paint the picture. All you got to do is put it out there. These kids that's watching this internet shit today, they gonna jump on it.
Yeah.
And pretty much that's what it is. So I'm not gonna allow myself to get angry and mad and do all of this other shit and take myself out of character for people that don't know me. It don't make no sense. So let those cats can say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They saw me in the room and felt the need to be that person, then be that person.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been called the police, been called the feds, been called a snitch. Nothing we've ever done has shown up in anyone's case. We've never gotten anyone convicted. But still, Vlad is the police.
Right.
Is still a thing. You know, so I can relate to what you're going through.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's really just whatever. And it really doesn't matter. You know, I mean, actual real cooperators and informants, you know, are out there living their life and are YouTube stars, you know, like Sammy the Bull gets millions of views, you know, lots of people, Tekashi 6ix9ine, whatever. So it really is almost like, it kind of doesn't really matter either way, but people will try to paint whatever picture they want to paint about you. And at the end of the day, you can't respond to everybody.
What they call it, trolling or something?
Trolling. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, that's what they doing.
Right. And if you respond, now they have something else. Now they have more content by you responding.
Right. After bomb, like I said, after bomb first, Vlad, I pretty much said okay. And, you know, a couple good people, good friends of mine came and got at me and just, check this out, whoop the whoop. And it taught me something. So I had to sit back and like, you're right. You know what I'm saying? My gangster today is taking care of my grandson. You know what I'm saying? My gangster today is making sure my nieces is good. My gangster ain't out there hurting cats like me. My gangster ain't putting a red rag in my back pocket and showing everybody I'm tough. That ain't gangster. My grandson makes me gangster. Keep me on my gangster.
Love
For
it.
real.
I love it. Well, you mentioned the whole accessory after the fact. The big thing that's in the news right now is there's a rapper out of Florida named Ksoo, and he's being charged with a murder, and his father is being charged with an accessory after the fact.
He knew all about it.
You know, the story is allegedly is that the murder happened. He went to his dad. His dad did whatever his dad did. And now they're both being charged. His dad is actually facing 30 years because he has a bunch of priors. So now his dad is actually testifying against the son.
Daddy out of line.
It's crazy, right? And the dad did a whole post saying, like, if it was my father and he was facing a bunch of prison time, I'll tell the police that he has nothing to do with it because I guess the son isn't saying anything.
Right.
So now the father is being forced to defend himself. So now they announce that the father is going to be testifying against the son. And it's really ugly, you know? And like, I remember when I had Boosie, he was like, oh yeah, the authorities just laughing at everybody. Like, haha, we got this guy to testify against his own son and so forth.
Ksoo dead ain't no, like, niggas know Ksoo dead in Duval. Like, nigga, like, you led him wrong too. You led him wrong. You know, we gotta start blaming ourselves as parents. We led these fucking children wrong most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, bro, like, you make these people do their fucking job. You don't bend over and get fucked by these people. You make these people do their job. That's why they get hired. You don't do their job for them against your son. It doesn't go like that. I don't give a damn. If you murder somebody, it's not to be caught for murdering somebody, it's to get away. It's not to be caught. No matter how bad it's not for them to be caught. It's for you to get away. Well, and by telling your ass is not gonna get away.
Okay, so his dad made a statement about this publicly.
I heard his statement. I want his, I won't write him in jail. So whoever watching this, send me that nigga address, man. I won't write him and talk to him. I want to make them people do their job. They're laughing at you over beer and shots right now. We're making that motherfucker turn on his own seed. He's turning on his own boy. Then they're gonna kill his ass when he go back there and we let him out. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make him testify and let his ass out after and give him credit for time served and let Ksoo boy smoke his ass. 2 birds and 1 stone.
Now you yourself, we just talked about, you had an accessory after the fact. Right? Charge. What do you think of this particular situation?
I mean, see, everybody got to look at it. It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Why did the daddy all of a sudden say, I'll testify against him? That big 3-0. Daddy don't want to do 30 years.
Right.
The average motherfucker that get big time thrown in their face, the first thing they do is accept that 15 years opposed to the 30 to life, they're going to take the 15. See, this is just part of the system to tell you, we ain't got the money to keep playing with you. But if you want to sit here and play this bullshit, we're going to give you 35. So they take the fucking 15. Why you think all these cats going to the feds and taking the time? I'd rather do 15 than y'all give me life in federal prison because I won't come home. So they don't give a fuck who told on them. They just gonna take the time so they can get out. This is all this shit is. So here we have the father, which is out of line because this your son. You ride with that one till the wheels fall off. That's part of family. You do family like that, you do anybody like that.
Okay, so let's look at this. Do you have any sons?
Yes, I got 2 sons.
2 sons. Your son comes over, shows up at your house, said, Dad, I just killed somebody. What do you do?
I have to support my son. My son gonna explain what happened. Whether he right or wrong, I don't have a choice but to support my son.
Okay.
I go all the way to get my son the fuck up out of California. You know what I'm saying? So he don't get killed now. But if he go to jail, ain't nothing I can do but support him.
Okay, well, if he tells you what happened and you say, it's very unfortunate, but there's nothing I can help you with, can you get charged with accessory after the fact or no?
No.
No, okay.
No.
So you don't have to call the police or anything else like that.
No.
You could say, man, this is fucked up. I wish I could do something.
His daddy had to be there. His daddy knew it's more to it than the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know nothing about it. So, but what I'm saying is, even if Pops was there, even if he did come home and tell Pops what he did and Pops took the murder weapon, got rid of it, whatever,
yeah,
he can be charged with accessory. Okay, if they charge you with accessory, just because the police told you they're going to give you 30 years for accessory, come on, man, that's bullshit. You ain't going to get 30 years for helping your son. So whatever that might be, you might get 5 years. You might get 2 years.
yeah.
But 2 years is worth going down for my son. I'll do that 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something any parent would ever want to deal with. And I mean, unfortunately, in 2022, getting away with a murder is very difficult. Between cell phones and cameras and triangulation and everyone, social media and this, that. And I mean, let me tell you, the greatest detective force in the world is on social media. Because those guys will find everything. They'll find a photo from 1902 that you're in. They'll tie you, connect you with the murderer and so forth.
Here we are, we know this.
Yeah.
Here we are on the internet. Here we are live explaining in detail to detail about what we doing and how we getting down. The police is just like us. They sitting on the side of that laptop, sitting there drinking their coffee, listening to these motherfuckers talk about how they gangster. See, our days, we didn't have that shit. It had to come from mouth to get me locked up. It had to come from mouth, not that. The goddamn laptop is putting all these dudes in prison. And they know it, so ain't no crying, ain't no misunderstandings. You know you cannot run to social media with the shit. And they out here doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I just watched, sitting in the car, watching Soulja Boy and Charleston White.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. The whole macing incident. When you heard about that, and apparently it really happened. So the story is that I guess they were in Miami. Charleston was with his wife or female or whatever.
Right.
Soulja Boy and like 10 or 12 people decide to approach him.
Right.
Charleston reached into his woman's purse, pulled out some mace, and sprayed everyone.
What was he supposed to do?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't deal with him, but you got 12 men coming at you, ready to do great bodily harm to you.
Yeah.
So, is it gangster to sit there and get your ass whooped? No. I'm gonna do whatever I can. And the crazy part is he had mace, not a gun.
Right.
So, just think if he had a gun, the situation would have been totally different. Just think if they would have been able to get him, the situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
Soulja Boy, why would you want to go to jail behind doing something to Charleston? If Charleston hit his head and died, Soulja Boy ain't shit on the street no more. You in prison.
Forever.
They got video of y'all killing this motherfucker, so everybody go to prison for one man? I don't think so.
Yeah, over a man that really just talks on the internet. He has no real effect on you. He just talks.
Man, the dude funny in the motherfucker, man. When I saw it and he had this pink shirt on, I just couldn't do shit but laugh. But he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I got one eye. I'm 5'5". I can't do this, man. I tell y'all, I'm gonna call the police on you, motherfuckers.
Right. He's saying he's pressing charges too.
Yeah.
He maced them, and then he's pressing charges.
Why touching? So I say this to Soulja Boy and all his partners. Y'all don't want to do nothing to that dude on camera. Ain't nobody ready to go to jail with the time that they giving today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Soulja Boy's already done some jail time over, I think, a gun or some bullets or, a couple years back.
But he don't want to go and sit in jail. Money ain't shit. Don't mean shit when you're sitting in prison.
Oh, no. A Soulja Boy catches a murder, he's going to do a good 30 years. And he's not getting a slap on the wrist.
And what I'm saying is not worth it because all y'all know this dude is doing is talking, trying to get his clown on, trying to make money just like the rest of these cats on the internet. So he picked people to fuck with. So if we bite into the shit, here we are.
Listen, Charleston talks shit about me, and I've interviewed him and paid him. So at the end of the day, I don't take Charleston, in terms of, when I say seriously, I mean that like he doesn't hurt my feelings or make me angry or whatever else. I understand Charleston's Charleston, and we've had our interviews, and they've been good interviews. He's done his job. I've done my job. And it is what it is. At some point, we may circle back with each other. We may not. Who knows? I don't know. I have no regard. I know that he said a few things about me after the interview, and that's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not. If I see Charleston, I'm not going to roll up on him 10 deep. I may walk up to him by myself, or maybe with my one security guy to just talk to him.
That's what could have happened with Soulja Boy. Y'all hold up. Let me go holler at this fool. You know what I'm saying? See, it take both sides to feel some kind of way.
Oh, yeah. No, he said, Charleston said, man, you better talk to me with a bullhorn across the street.
Hey, man, the dude is funny. So, I laugh at Charleston now, but it took my situation with him to get it. The dude don't mean no harm. You know, the shit he say, he's out of line. He's a very contradicting young man, but he ain't finna do nothing to nobody. He not finna come and sit in your bushes and wait for you to come out the door.
No.
So he's not a threat.
Yeah.
So, Soulja Boy and them it would have been a waste of time to say, show your gangster on somebody that's by itself and ain't finna do shit. He'd have had to take the ass whooping because there's 12 motherfuckers stumping him out. But he the smartest motherfucker I know. When it comes to combat, there's no rules. When it comes to anything, ain't no rules in this.
I agree.
Take your mace out and mace a motherfucker.
I agree.
I'd rather use mace than bullets. I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
I maced him. So if you want to give me assault,
yeah. Go ahead and take it. Well, since our last interview, Eric Holder was found guilty of killing Nipsey Hussle. Which was really no surprise, but there's always that little doubt, especially in LA and the history of the LA legal system and so forth, that maybe he might get a manslaughter or a crime of passion or something like that. Because that was what his lawyers were trying to fight for, right? His court-appointed attorney, because he couldn't get a real lawyer. But he was found guilty.
Right.
When you heard the news, number one, you ever met Nipsey before or no?
No.
Okay. I met him before. I've interviewed him before.
Right.
I've run into him before.
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see his shit. I didn't,
Stand up dude.
Right.
I've never said anything negative about Nipsey in my life. When you heard the news, the guilty verdict, what'd you think?
I wasn't surprised. For number one, old boy is a gang member. For number two, people like myself looked at the things that, not that Nipsey was the 60s, from 60s, but the things that, when you did hear the interview, the things that he was saying and how he was trying to help the kids. So here's a young cat, talking like a grown-ass man. You couldn't help but feel what he was talking about. And I was like, okay, all gang members ain't bad. I look at the shit I'm going through, but listen to how this young man talking. You know what I'm saying? So when old boy killed him, I thought he wasn't gonna live to go to court.
Oh yeah, people were looking for him.
Well, you ain't hard to get in the county jail. So they must have had him somewhere where they couldn't get him.
Well, they got him during the trial.
Yeah, but that's coming from the court to the from the jail to the court. And just because the police wear uniforms don't mean they didn't like Nipsey. Somebody let somebody get his motherfucking
Yeah,
head.
I heard it was a Mexican dude, by the way. Shout out to the Mexicans in LA. Y'all,
Right, so-
y'all did a solid.
The odds has been against him. Now, when he go to prison, what the fuck he gonna do?
Well, he's gonna be in PC.
You can get touched in there too. So my only thing, and I hope this dude hear me, the only thing you can do is sharpen you some shit and keep your back to the wall and say, fuck it. You ain't coming home, so fuck it. Anything come near you, even if they don't open their mouth, stab their motherfucking ass, because you don't know when it's coming. You ain't got a choice. If I went to prison right now with 30, I know it's over. I know I'm gonna die in prison. I don't expect to come home.
I mean, he's getting premeditated murder. He's getting first-degree murder.
Yeah,
So first-degree murder
in prison.
plus, I think, attempted murder on the two other guys.
Right.
He shot two other people in the process. I can't imagine him ever getting out.
He not.
Not for a murder. Now, if Nipsey had lived, then he probably would get a release date. But in this particular case, he's going to get life. He's going to, it's one of those things. A lot of the people I interviewed feel that he's gonna, get barnyard visits or be someone's girlfriend in prison.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how those things work.
And people can't take that thug shit out of him. The little dude he was with it from what I hear on the streets.
Yeah.
So, I ain't gonna say he ain't gonna go to prison and fight. He know he got to. But it's just gonna be a long road for him because of his crime and who he committed the crime on.
Right. And who is really going to protect him? Right? If you think about it, right? Well, the Crips obviously are not going to protect you.
No.
The Bloods aren't going to protect you.
No.
The Latin Kings aren't going to protect you. The Muslims ain't going to fuck with you. The Aryan Nation don't want nothing to do with you. What do you have left? There's really no large, the Mexican mafia don't want nothing to do. You already see how the Mexicans treated you.
Everything come with a price. If you can pay for protection, then you good.
You don't have no money though.
That's what I'm saying. You ain't got no money to go with that. You're gonna be sitting in a cell for 23 hours a day, every day. So maybe that's the only thing that's gonna keep him right.
Well, Nipsey's friend Cowboy, we did an interview with him.
Right.
And Cowboy took the stand.
Okay.
So the situation happened like this. Nipsey and Cowboy were hanging out in the parking lot in front of his store.
Right.
And Eric Holder walked up to Nipsey to go talk to him. And Cowboy even said, as he was walking up, Nipsey said, I wonder how this is going to turn out.
When the car pulled up and they hit that corner, and when Nip asked Rempaul, is that shitty? And Ren Paul like, yeah. And he didn't really say it to nobody, but I distinctly remember saying, I wonder how this gonna unfold. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the exact words, like, I wonder how this gonna unfold. Oh no, I wonder how this is gonna play out, something like that.
They went and talked, and Nipsey said, hey, man, you know, they knew each other. He's like, hey, man, I had heard that there's some paperwork on you. I hadn't seen it myself. I'm just letting you know that's the word that's going around. So if it's not true, you should get that taken care of. Eric was like, oh, man, people always hating on me, this, that, and the third. But it was a positive conversation. They shook hands afterwards. Cowboy went into the store. Eric left. And then while Cowboy was in the store, Eric came back and shot and killed
Well,
Nipsey.
that must not have been a healthy conversation then, because if the homie putting you up on something and letting you know you need to fix it, and we shake hands and you walk away, I go in the store, then come out, now here you coming back at me to shoot me, what the fuck wrong with him?
Well, because of that conversation, and, you know, because the word was always that, oh, Nipsey called him a snitch, and that's why he ended up killing
Okay,
him.
and that's what it gotta be. Man, this motherfucker talking to me like that, but he actually came to holler at Nipsey to say, man, why you telling niggas I'm a whoop whoop? You know what I'm saying? So that conversation could have went anyway.
Yeah.
But here or there, I mean, the only person know that conversation is Cowboy.
Right. Cowboy. And there's another guy also who named Ren Paul who ended up not testifying.
Right.
But what had happened was, because of that conversation, because Cowboy had so much love for Nipsey, he felt it was important for him to take the stand and explain to everyone just what that conversation was.
Right.
He didn't see Nipsey get killed. You know, the gunshots happened when he was in the store. He ran out, and he was the first person to grab Nipsey's body as he was dying. But he took the stand. Cowboy himself is a Rolling 60s Crip.
Right.
In fact, he's the one that brought Nipsey, you know, on the set. And a lot of people were really upset with Cowboy for taking the stand. You know, he even said that people were hating him more than Eric Holder.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
A lot of these young cats today don't understand. The Cowboys say he the one killed my homeboy.
No.
Okay, so if he didn't point to that person that's sitting at that desk with the suit on and say, he the one did it, I saw him do it. If he ain't talking like that, what did he snitch on? That I heard a conversation? Basically saying that they talked and shook hands and walked away. Mm-hmm. So anything after that, I don't know what the fuck happened really.
Right.
What did he snitch about?
Yeah, he didn't see him running off, nothing. Like, it was like gunshots, he ran outside. That's what he saw. But, you know, I mean, listen, to me, I told Cowboy that I support his decision. I feel he did the exact right thing. And I would hope that if someone did something to me, that one of my friends would step up and try to explain what had happened.
And you know, it's crazy because they put that sticker on everybody. Say, for instance, my homeboy, I'm sitting here watching this dude just killed my daughter. Now I go to court and say, I sit here, watch this man kill my daughter, stab my daughter. I'm a snitch?
Yeah, to some people, to some people you are, which is so dumb in my opinion. But then again, I'm speaking as an outsider who's not a gang member, who's not a street guy.
You don't have to be an outsider. You just have to be somebody that understand what the fuck it is. You know, like with these boss guys, and they getting out here, you know, everything comes with circumstances. And what is the reason why this happened or that happened? People don't understand that shit. And, you know, they just got that label right here, and everybody, it's 1 million motherfucking gang members on this planet. It's 999,000 that's gangsters. How many of them you think that got a good relationship with a police officer on that force in their city?
Most.
Okay, if you grew up gang banging, that captain, sergeant, or whatever used to run the streets. You got a good rapport with him. You cool with him. Do that make him a motherfucking rat because he cool with that one police officer? Come on, man.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's crazy to me. And one of the guys that got shot in that incident who didn't die, Kerry Lathan, who I interviewed. You know, Big U actually put us on the phone with each other.
Okay.
Because at the time, they were trying to put Kerry back in prison. He had just gotten out. He had just done like 30 years or something.
Oh, they giving him a violation. Wrong place.
They were trying to
wrong time.
violate him for like, you know, being associated with gang members and everything else like that.
Wrong place at
Ultimately, he
wrong
got
time,
dropped. Ultimately, got dropped, and hopefully our interview helped to, you know, proliferate that. But Kerry Lathan, who was forced to take the stand, got on the stand and said, I don't know nothing. He said, is that you in the video? I don't know. He literally just denied knowing a single thing.
Okay.
And because he, I guess, was gang related himself.
Right.
You know, and the other guy who was right there next to Cowboy, Rimpao, who was basically forced to take the stand, refused to do it. And I believe that there was like a warrant for his arrest, which they ultimately ended up dropping.
Okay.
But Rimpao was one of the pallbearers in Nipsey's funeral. You know, this is how close they were, but he refused to take the stand.
Right.
So Cowboy was the only one who did it, essentially. You know, there was a couple other civilian, you know, it's like a mother and like this, you know, middle-aged guy who ended up talking about it. But in terms of the people around Nipsey, only one person actually took the stand on his behalf in this situation. And look, it ultimately worked out, but that lack of cooperation could have potentially allowed Eric Holder to get a much lesser charge.
Right. It could have.
It could have. If let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. If Eric Holder had a real lawyer, if someone put up $500,000 for Eric Holder's defense,
He'd have had action.
he would have potentially gotten a manslaughter or whatever, because leading up to, because, you know, we went into this case, you know, Mo Ganga, which is one of the lawyers that comes on VladTV and explains things. He explained what the defense was. Listen, Eric Holder has serious mental issues. In fact, a week or two before the incident, he had electroshock therapy.
His lawyer is going to try to do is basically argue a mental state defense and say that attempted murder or murder is not the right charge here, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. If you look at what was going on in this man's life in the months leading up to this incident, and if you look at what was going on just in the days before, including significant mental health issues that were treated by multiple manners, you know, he's not just getting diagnosed and he's not just seeing somebody. He went through an electric shock therapy session to try to deal with whatever was going on inside his head. So I think what's happening, no good plea option, so you got to take it to trial. No good defense, because the eyewitnesses say you let off the gun. And so you argue mental state and you say, hey, my client just wasn't in a good place that day. You throw it to the judge and the jury and you hope they lower the charge from murder to something like assault with a deadly weapon.
That's how bad his mental condition is. And he wasn't taking his medication. You know, he didn't really know where he was or whatever. He's mentally unwell. Your Honor, he might not even be fit to stand trial. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you get an OJ caliber dream team.
He'd have probably went to Patton instead of prison.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Did
saying.
5 years under observation and that motherfucking walked out of there.
You know what I'm saying? But he had a court-appointed attorney, and ultimately things worked out well, because I just had Lunell on here. She thinks that if it wasn't a first-degree murder charge, we'd see a 92 LA riot situation again. She thinks that people would have started to really start tearing up
I
LA.
believe so. They probably would have.
Well, you saw what happened during Nipsey's funeral. He had a Michael Jackson caliber funeral.
Right.
You know, the Staples Center.
I think people would have really been mad at that, but that's why they really found him guilty of murder instead of some manslaughter shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I can't sit up here and be a hypocrite because this is how we lived. You know what I'm saying? And this is how some of these cats lost their lives using that rat word. This is how, you know, back in the days it was more serious than it is today. I mean, you got 10 people in the room, you throw a rock, you're going to hit 9 of them. 9 of them is rats. So regardless of what the fuck they talking about, man, it's getting more serious, especially with the younger dudes today, because they don't got nowhere else to go. When you talk about a homie or a blood or crib, half of these cats don't have nowhere to go other than the hood. You know what I'm saying? So when you put me out there like that, man, I don't have a choice.
So Larry Hoover, who's one of the founders of the Gangster Disciples, who's doing life in prison, recently renounced his association
Right.
with the Gangster Disciples. He wrote a letter. He said, regardless, these people are apart from me and do what they do with zero encouragement or direction from me. To be clear, if I had any ability to influence them, I'd ask them that they forget me and forsake the gang life forever. I have long since renounced my association with any and all criminal organizations and their membership. I am no longer a member, leader, or even an elder statesman of the Gangster Disciples. I want nothing to do with it now and forever.
I agree with him.
This is someone very revered in that type of world, and he's completely renounced that.
But look at how much time he done in prison.
I mean, he's been there for like 20 years now.
And at some point you want to come home. And you know, you have to realize that me sticking to my principles, my morals, who I am, means a lot. But these white folks ain't looking at me like that. They looking at me as like I'm this head motherfucker that's in charge of everything. And if they're gonna do everything in their power not to let me come home because I influence people, or they think people would do anything that I ask of them or for me. So now he realized he had to change that situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's in ADX Florence. He's in a serious prison.
Right.
He is not in a country club.
No.
ADX is essentially the top of the heap. 23-hour lockdown.
A done data prison.
Yeah.
You
It doesn't
ain't-
get any more serious
ain't
than
doing
ADX.
shit. Yeah. So, you know, I'd have been changed. I'd have been, you know, what they say, they broke me.
Yeah, and I actually looked it up. He's doing 6 life sentences.
What the fuck he do for 6 life sentences, I don't know. But you gotta have at least 6, 12 bodies. You're gonna do a life sentence for each case.
Well, according to Wikipedia, he was sentenced to 200 years for a 1973 murder and in 1997 after a 17-year investigation, conspiracy, extortion, money laundering, and running a continuing criminal enterprise by leading a gang from state prison. He then received a life sentence, and then that
That's
somehow
ridiculous.
turned into 6 life sentences.
That's
with
ridiculous.
everything put together.
But they gave him that to keep him where he's at. But like I said, I don't know him. I heard of him, and you know, to be real, everything that's a threat to our country goes to jail or disappear, especially if it's of my kind, my color. We all know that. The only one I ain't seen that we have that I think is left is Farrakhan. The only one that I've seen speak for anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't see, they ran Jesse Jackson off. You don't see him no more. You don't see Al Sharpton. They ran him off. So I don't know why. I mean, you know, I think he should have did what he did and just come home. Just get out. You do it by any means necessary. If you got to make them think or want them to think that you changed or rehabilitated, fucking do what you got to do. Should nobody be mad at that shit?
I mean, to be honest, at this point in Chicago, from everything I know, all the people I've interviewed, there is no central leader in the Gangster Disciples or the Black
Right.
Disciples. It's scattered with cliques all over the city, all over the country. There's no one who could come in, you know, like a Larry Hoover or a Jeff Fort, the way they were doing things in the 60s and 70s,
Right.
and could bring 1,000 people out. That's not even possible anymore.
Man.
No, there are no people like that. You know, maybe a rapper, but in terms of an actual gang leader, there's just not that thing anymore. The people's mentalities are not of
even
that.
to be gone off the set as long as he been gone. You have generations, at least 2 up under him, maybe 3 since he been gone. These kids don't know him. These kids, the youngsters of today, do what the fuck they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
When and wherever, how they want to. So he don't have no control over that. Go to any hood in LA and Compton or wherever else. Them little cats ain't listening to their OGs. They ain't listening to Ceasefire. They doing what they want to do. So everybody know from just that, he don't even play a part in that. So I think people should, you know, let that man alone, Let him do what he's trying to do and get him off of social media. This is what's killing him. Everybody voicing opinions and saying if he this, if he that, that's what's killing him. Leave him alone.
Yeah, man, listen, I hope he comes home at one point.
Yeah.
I think, at this point, he's done so much time. He's an old man.
Correct the fucking mistake. Let the man out and let him see his grandkids. Let him be able to hug and touch his family.
There you go.
He old.
Well, since our last interview, the Super Bowl happened, and essentially Death Row performed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
Dre, Snoop, and then, the next generation of,
Right.
Death Row, a.k.a. Aftermath,
Right.
50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, as well as Mary J. Blige. When you saw essentially, the label that you were associated with performing on the biggest stage in the world, what'd you think?
I said, God damn. Wow. But I knew it when Suge was home. If Suge would have stand firm on the way he was, Death Row would have been the biggest shit ever. Nobody would have been able to fuck with Death Row today. And I know this for a fact. Not just only he had us, but he had other people that was somebody from different neighborhoods. And he would have had it so good. So when I seen that Snoop required the label,
Yes,
to me it was a good thing.
Snoop bought Death Row.
It was a good thing. I think, here I once was I worked for this company. Now I own this company. And everybody should applaud him because he's a young black man. He was able to buy it. He didn't fold when Suge went to jail. He continued to be successful. And now he Death Row.
Yeah, I thought it was dope. And I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do with that label.
Can't be mad at him. Can't hate on him.
Yep.
The only way he can fuck up is treat it as if just some hood shit.
Well, I interviewed Reggie Wright Sr.
Right.
And what he said was, because remember the setup during the show is like Compton essentially,
Right.
and they had a Tams sign actually on the field. According to Reggie Wright Sr., he felt that Dre did that to take a shot at Suge Knight because that's where he killed.
You can't see it
Terry
no other
Carter.
way. You can't see it no other way.
The set included Tam's Burgers, which is the infamous Compton burger spot where, for example, Suge ended up, running over Terry and probably all types of other incidents happened over the years, both good and bad. But to actually see that on the biggest stage.
No doubt that was a shot at Suge. It was.
You feel that Tams was a shot at Suge?
Reggie and I discussed it right after we saw the Super Bowl. He called me. He go, "What? The biggest hamburger stand or pastrami stand in the city of Compton is till the day is Louis Burgers."
So it's not Tams.
No, that I know of.
Okay.
I know we spend more time. Louis, you talk about Compton, you talk about pastrami or good burger, you talk about Louis, either number one or two.
Tams is where the situation happened.
And what he also said was that, and I don't hang out in Compton, so I can't co-sign this, but what he said is that when you think of Compton and places to
Louis
eat
Burgers.
and iconic places, Tams is not one of those places.
Louis
He started
Burgers.
naming other places that are a lot more iconic
Right.
in the world of Compton in terms of like the go-to spots where you eat.
Right.
Tams is not one of those, but Tams is where Suge essentially, ended his his freedom.
Everybody on the west side and everybody that's going toward the 80 part of Central, the lower bottoms of Central, coming back up goes to Tams. Everybody on the east side of Compton and Linwood and all that goes to Louis Burgers.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned. Louis
But
Burgers,
see,
yeah.
that wasn't the case here. They did that because of the situation why Suge is in prison today. So they knew exactly what they did with that. That wasn't no mishap or we fucked up on that when we dropped the ball. But I'm like this. Why it can't be funny? Because the shoe is on the other foot now. You see what I'm saying? You did all this tormenting and disrespecting me as a man, the whole nine. And I throw a shot at you, everybody mad at me. But taking my money and dropping me on my head and doing all this other shit, they applaud you on the back.
What do you mean dropping you on the head?
No, I'm just saying, just being disrespectful to a motherfucker in general.
Talking about Suge disrespecting
Yeah,
Dre.
and I threw up a damn burger stand and everybody, yeah, he did it. And that's what he should have said. Yeah, I did it on purpose. Don't hide it. Yeah,
I don't
did
think
it.
anyone questioned him about it, is what I'm saying. Like, these are coming up in my interviews.
Oh yeah, he was questioning about it. Everybody,
Oh, really?
Everybody was
Oh,
talking
so
about
this
it.
was like a talk that
all
was
around,
happening.
all
Oh,
around. And everybody
okay.
was getting everybody's opinion. My homeboy Lee Ford and everybody that was in Compton was like, oh, that was fucked up. They did Suge like that and came at him like that. Wait a minute. And I don't speak bad on Suge no more. Suge got it harder than everybody and any nigga on the street, any motherfucker in the street.
Yeah, doing
He
28
got it
years
worse
right now.
Yeah, so, but speaking of then, I mean, he wouldn't have gave a fuck, and he probably would have did the same thing.
Oh, if Suge was in charge of the Super Bowl,
He would have did the
the
same
type
thing.
of sneak dissing that would have happened, oh my God. It
And-
would have been on a whole other level.
When nobody'd have been mad. But, so, like I said, you know, Dre felt that was his shot to throw a shot at him,
Yeah.
and he took it. He did it.
Well, recently, the family of Terry Carter actually filed an $81 million civil suit against Suge.
You ain't gonna get it.
Well, it went to trial and ended up being a mistrial.
Mm.
It was like, I think 7 people found Suge guilty, but 5 did not. And they just could not, you know, no matter how many times the judge told them to go back, and
Right,
5 people just said, no, we don't see it.
right. Well,
You
They
know,
gon-
and, you know, I mean, number one, I don't think Suge has $81 million.
no.
I mean, not anywhere near that. I heard he's okay though. I heard he's buying people, girls' cars and stuff like that. That's what I heard from someone. But you know, now if the family, since it's a mistrial, they could go and start all over again and start
Right.
a whole new trial. But in these types of cases, usually a lawyer takes that on contingency. You know, usually the family doesn't have $500,000 to spend on a trial
right.
that they might not win, which in this case they didn't win. Nobody won.
Right.
So to have a lawyer go through the whole process again, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And at the end of the day, look, I mean, the guy got 28 years. He's lost the company. Whatever money he has is not what it used to be. So really, it's almost like a symbolic thing trying to sue him and win. But he's been convicted criminally for it.
Right. And I mean, you know, 28 years is a long motherfucking time.
Yeah.
To sit behind bars. I know they'll never get Terry back, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think sometimes we need to, and I'm only saying this because I had to get over the fact that my brother's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at nobody. I don't seek vengeance for nobody. I gave up. It's a motherfucker to be feeling the way I felt every day, waking up every day, hating people. You know, so this little cat out here made me see that I don't need to be waking up with headaches and pissed off at the world.
You're talking about your grandson.
My grandson.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like that.
Right.
So, you know, I just say it's crazy because I learned a lot of shit since I've had him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe I had the time to sit back and reflect on a lot of shit that I've done and that's happening today. I ain't mad at nothing because half of the shit I've done, I should be in prison for the rest of my life. And I really realize I'm blessed.
Well, you still have bullets in you.
Yeah.
Can you break down the different bullets you have right now?
I have a bullet in my lower back. I have a bullet in my upper back up here, and I have buckshots. I have 8 buckshots in this hand, and I had them all down my arm, but those fell out.
So they would just come. Your
They
skin
came
pushes
out.
them
I
out.
woke up in bed and like, what the hell is this rolling on me? I'm thinking it's a damn roaches, and it was just little BBs, pellets.
Crazy.
But the ones in my hands, as you can see, all of these, they never came out. So
Was that all one situation or multiple situations?
different situation. I've been shot on 4 different occasions.
4 times you've been shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't count. I've been grazed right here, my lower sack on my left leg, and then I was hit right here. I think it was a 38 in 1980, and then I got shot with a 4.5 and a shotgun.
Now, out of those weapons, the shotgun is the most deadly at close range. In fact, they say the shotgun is the most deadliest weapon on earth at close range.
Well, we was in a car, and I tell this story all the time. This little bitty, couldn't have been no more than 13, 14-year-old little sworn cat, came up out behind some cars at the swap meet and sprayed the car.
With a shotgun.
So, yeah, the little homie, he ducks. He's the driver, he ducks. And when I grabbed the steering wheel, shot my motherfucking hand right off the steering wheel. And while he down, my whole left side is exposed. So after they shoot, before we can even lift up, the police has got their guns on us. And my T-shirt is bleeding, my T-shirt up here bleeding, my hands. I got blood all on my hands and shit, and they put me in a room, handcuffed. Wait a minute, how the motherfucker just got shot? So I denied the ambulance to touch me, and if they wouldn't charging us with nothing, let us out this motherfucker.
So did they arrest the kid who shot you?
No.
So they arrested you, but not. You said the police was right there.
They
They
didn't
arrested.
catch them.
Oh, you didn't catch him.
They didn't catch them. So
Do you know what it was over? That shooting.
it was gangbangers. Yeah, gangbangers shit.
What set was he from? Do you know?
He was from Park Village.
Okay.
Yeah, Park Village.
Do you know specifically who it is?
Yeah. Yeah. I knew what hood they was from.
Okay, but did you know specifically who the kid was that
No,
shot you?
I didn't. I
So to
never
this
knew
day,
his
you don't
name.
know who it is.
No, it don't matter.
Don't matter.
No.
Okay.
Why would it matter? Shit, half of the motherfuckers didn't know I shot them. So, hey, fair exchange, no robbery. I mean, we all knew what we was getting into, what we was doing.
So you don't feel any sort of, like, for example, like you have this deep-seated hatred for the person who killed your brother Buntry, right? You're talking about how you wake up every morning mad,
Right.
upset, want revenge, and so forth. But the people who shot you don't have that same feeling?
I think it's kind of different. Living the life that we do and accepting what we do and the outcome of what we do is totally different from being killed by a friend. I didn't know this dude, and the majority of cats that I ran into in my life that I pointed a gun at, I didn't know him. So there's no type of agreements, no understanding there. But if you lived or you came to our house and we was at your house and we in the hood hanging and drinking and kicking it, there's nowhere in the world I should even think about killing you. So it's a big difference between shooting your rivals or shooting a friend.
Well, the person who is rumored to have killed
It
your
don't
brother
matter to
Buntry,
me.
well, is George Williams, a.k.a. Monkey Man.
Don't matter to me.
He's out of
man.
prison now.
Yeah, I know. And, I get all of these phone calls. I get people, what you gonna do? Don't call this 50-something-year-old motherfucking ask him what the fuck he gonna do.
Especially on the phone. God
If
damn.
y'all know he home, why the fuck y'all ain't did nothing? Don't call me. Don't talk to me about nothing. Man, like I said, George over there, James over here. George, live your life. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not living that. I'm not living that. I don't wake up thinking about George. I don't sit on the couch wondering what the fuck George doing. I'm not thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I talked to my boy, and the conversations that I had with my homeboy it's like so real. I'm not thinking about George.
Well, I just want to say this because this might be taken the wrong way. This is not me just starting a rumor.
No, it's been said.
It's actually in paperwork.
Yeah.
So essentially, according to homicide detective Beth Smith, George and another person named Reed were being investigated as person of interest in at least one Los Angeles County murder. Detective Smith told the Times that the slaying of Alton Buntry McDonald was these guys here, and they both denied it. So this is not me just starting rumors and putting targets on people's backs. This is actually an actual investigation, and this is what the police have said. Now, they both denied it, and they're not charged with it. But this is, when I said rumor, this is because what the police have put out there.
Right. When you deny it, I would deny it too.
Of course.
But this is what I was just saying, like I was saying earlier. I can't sit here and contradict myself. We friends, this ain't what we're supposed to be doing. It's different if it was by, let's just say, we Parus. It'd be totally different if it was Crips. I can understand that. We signed up for this shit here. It's totally different. But George been gone 15, 16 years. I've been over here. This little dude right here, I don't have no desires for none of that shit. I don't care about none of that shit. I just gave up the crying and stressing over my brother. You know what I'm saying? Do I miss my brother? Yeah, I miss him like a motherfucker. But I'm not finna do something that's gonna take me away like it took him away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's going to prison over anybody. You know what I'm saying? If I have to, I don't got a problem with it. I can sit there and roll with the time. But if I ain't got to, I don't got time. I'm not doing it.
Well, since last time, Suge's lawyer, Matthew Fletcher, has actually pleaded guilty. Actually pleaded no contest to one count of conspiracy to obstruct justice and one count of perjury in an attempt to try to bribe witnesses in order to get Suge out of prison. Have you heard about this?
I believe that.
Right. Under the terms of the plea deal, the lawyer, Matthew Fletcher, is getting 5 years of probation, and he's barred from practicing law for the rest of his life. It's a very interesting story in terms of looking into it.
But it's some weird shit, though.
So basically, the lawyer on wiretaps said he referred to himself as a fucking gang motherfucking lawyer. So essentially, he was captured on tape a few years ago talking about the situation, and he basically was charged with conspiring to bribe witnesses to lie on behalf of Suge Knight, who he was representing at the time of the murder case. 6 months before the plea deal, Fletcher and another member of the defense team, Thaddeus Culpepper, were indicted on several charges regarding to witness tampering. They say the attorneys were trying to pay witnesses to testify that a group of men who confronted Suge Knight at the burger stand were armed with guns. Because that was the whole thing,
right.
Was that Bones said he didn't have a gun, and Suge tried to say he had a gun, which is why he ran him over and so forth. They ended up accidentally killing Terry. So, I mean, it's very interesting the way it actually came together. So,
but see, if they would have dealt with that head on, like just been honest, 100 with that case, I panicked. I got scared when that motherfucker started hitting me because, like I said earlier, some guys were born to be like this. Some cats just choose to be like this.
Right.
Suge chose to be with something he didn't have to be. You a college student, you did this, you got money, you don't have to be gangster.
Yeah. Well,
Now, let me tell you, Vlad, you don't have to be gangster, right? So because you chose to be this way, your day is coming that somebody's gonna test you. So what happened was that you feel that you can come in and the old tactics and all of this can be played. Now mind you, Suge he ain't no bitch. He ain't no bitch. But here goes some real motherfuckers. You ain't doing that, homie. Instead of respecting the homies or whomever, that B-Dog car, it was like on some fuck it. So when you were attacked, you put your head down and drove the fuck off. You know, Suge did not pay, and he shouldn't have got murdered. He should have got manslaughter. He put his head down and tried to get the fuck out of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is how the lawyer got busted. Basically, the case relied on a jailhouse conversation that Suge had with a witness that said that he was willing to help with his defense. This witness was actually a sheriff's department informant posing as a witness who had the conversation with Suge. So Knight then sent that informant to his lawyer with a suggestion that that witness needs to be paid.
Nobody fought but theirs.
So basically, in court recordings, basically they were saying, "Oh, if this cat's ready to come forward and say, look, man, we had guns. I don't care what he say. I don't care why he says it." And if somewhere down the road they say, "Oh, hey, give us 50 racks," okay, well, prove that shit. So essentially, you had these guys that were pretending to be witnesses that they tried to pay off. There's a call between Fletcher and Suge Knight where they basically agreed that $25,000 would be a fair investment to pay this guy off to say this. It was
He should have.
it was crazy.
He couldn't have made that deal, or he shouldn't have went nowhere near that unless he knew who these cats were.
Right.
Were they street cred cats?
No.
If he didn't know that, you talking to Suge, you shouldn't have did that.
Right.
So I mean that pretty much just hurt his whole case.
Yeah, hurt their whole thing. The lawyer
Yeah.
got indicted. The other lawyer is getting indicted also. I think that case is still pending. So yeah, this lawyer has now pled guilty. So he lost his law license. Luckily, he didn't get jail time. He only got 5 years of probation. The other lawyer is still facing charges. Suge got his 28 years. And yeah, it's a mess. If you want to talk about the legacy of death row, we have a YouTube paid membership section on VladTV, and we have a forum where paid members, I sometimes ask them, hey, I'm interviewing so and so. You have any questions for them? One of our members, Marcel Love, brought up a very interesting fact. Suge's old club in Las Vegas, Club 662, where Tupac was on the way to go perform when he got killed, is now a gay club called True.
I just visited that club. It was empty. It wasn't even nothing there.
Well, you look it up on Yelp, and there's a bunch of guys,
Gay motherfuckers.
gay dudes, wearing like leather straps across.
I mean,
their
that ain't a
chest.
situation. I mean, can't nobody change that. But
No, I'm just saying it's just a little bit ironic and funny. I'm just saying that after all that, it then becomes a gay club at the end.
when I did the interview there, it felt weird being back there because when nobody was there after the shooting in Vegas, nobody has partied there since, and being up there, it was just like, damn, it brought back a lot of memories of cats hanging out and how we kicked it and how we felt like this is our shit. We got a fucking nightclub in Vegas, the Mob.
Because Suge bought that club, or he just leased it, or what?
I don't know none of his business.
But that 662 was a death row club.
662 was death row.
It doesn't. 662 stands for something.
That's that hood street shit.
Yeah.
That's the MOB, the hood
Okay,
shit.
yeah, right.
So,
There we go.
But yeah, man, it was crazy. We really felt like we belonged to something. You know what I'm saying? And then, you got Tupac and all of these different other rappers and shit, and, just LL and TOC, coming through the hood, Jodeci. The hood was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So when it all just started to disappear right in front of you, it was It was crazy. It was strange.
Right. I mean, after Tupac's murder, Club 662 essentially
was
shut
done.
down.
Yeah,
it was a
done.
wrap. No one was trying to keep that open
No more
anymore.
parties, no nothing.
Nothing. Did you know Suge's friend Jake?
Big Jake?
Big Jake.
Yeah,
You guys close?
yeah.
You know, from what I understand, Jake getting killed in Atlanta sort of started the animosity between Suge and Puffy.
No,
No?
the animosity was there already. Jake was just getting out of prison, was introduced to Suge, a bunch of them introduced him to Suge. Big Jake was trying to stay home and wanted to stay home. He had an agenda. Big Jake was a nice, well-built young man, you know what I'm saying? And he fit the criteria of what Death Row was looking for, as far as bodyguards, as far as solid cats willing to do what they do. So Big Jake and Suge got close, like him and Alton Buntry.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Jake was, at the time, trying to get into his own little groove with groups and learning the business. So that's how Jake came about. And he started going out of town with Suge by himself. And one thing led to another.
Well, yeah. I mean, the story is that Big Jake got killed by Wolf, who was Puff's main bodyguard.
Right.
Wolf is dead as well. So,
Right.
we're not, implicating anyone by statements like this. But, after it happened, the story was that Suge was blaming, since one of Puff's guys allegedly killed his man, he kind of blamed Puff for that. And, one thing started to lead to another.
Well, I mean, you had to blame somebody for it. I mean, Compton wanted to know how, why, and what the fuck is these niggas' problems? Everybody knew that Suge and Puffy had beef. Everybody knew that. That wasn't a secret, neither New York to California. I can say that some people didn't take to threats kindly. Some people felt the way we felt. They gangsters, we can be gangsters too. You know what I'm saying? So this is where the problem came in. So, we got to be 10 times as cold as them. We got to be willing to do this or touch a motherfucker way worse than they are. So it just became a power thing. Who can do woo-woo. So I think Death Row got caught off guard out there, and we lost a real fucking dude. You know what I'm saying? And it went on from there.
Well, was Jake like a real close friend of Suge, or someone he just met after he got out of prison?
Jake was a close friend of Buntry and every other cat in the
Okay, so
hood.
Suge didn't really even know him that long.
Suge did. Let me explain.
Huh. Okay.
Everybody
that kind of
that-
changes the story a little bit.
Everybody that worked for Death Row, from the west side to the east side, then none of them know Suge. Suge didn't deal with and grow up with the homies like that because of his lifestyle situation opposed to ours. Suge didn't hang in the hood like that and go to the west side and kick it on the block and party. All of those guys met Suge after I came home. My brother introduced Suge to the Rock Chisholms and so on. From him, Rock introduced him to some of the homies. So everybody that Suge knew and dealt with was introduced to him. He didn't know or have no clue of before Death Row.
What was the Red Room in Death Row?
Red Room was oh man, you know what it is. It was just a room, just like Suge's private blood room, the red Death Row rug, wasn't shit.
That wasn't the room where people got beat up?
I don't know, man. You sure might have a case or something going on, man.
Okay.
You actually shit.
Fair enough. All right.
No, I
fair
don't
enough.
know
Fair
about
enough.
all that.
Right now, the biggest story in the hip hop world is the YSL RICO case, where Young Thug and Gunna are now, along with 26 other people, are sitting in a state RICO case.
Right.
No one's getting bond. There's 56 charges. And it's pretty crazy what's happening right there.
It ain't crazy. See, these young cats is living for today. They not living and trying to understand what today's shit brings you for tomorrow. They don't give a fuck. They sitting here with their stack of money, looking like a phone, posing in front of these cars and all this other shit, and rapping, and then they talking on their phone. The feds have, the police have, all these agencies have people to sit back and listen to motherfuckers talk all goddamn day. They advance they shit, and then we are like we don't even think this shit exists. So with these young men right here, it's gonna be more to come.
Yeah, no, the DA in Atlanta said that there's 2 other major RICO cases with like popular, I think she even said rappers, like is coming down the line, like popular crews, I think is what she said. And I actually read through the whole indictment and went down the line, and some of the stuff, there's so much social media stuff on there. There's so many things that Young Thug said, like, when you talk about YFN Lucci, because it's, they're saying it's about that YFN YSL war in Atlanta. I would have been killed you, if I didn't like what you did for your mom. Like, stuff like that. Things like YFN Lucci's mom gets shot. And then a while later, Young Thug has a lyric saying, I shot at your mother, now he don't mention me. And granted, it could be completely non-related. I'm sure the lawyers will try to argue that. But if you know that someone you're beefing with's mom's got shot, you would think the last thing you would do was make a lyric about it.
Well, see, I think outside the box, they're gonna have a jury listening to this. 6 of them people on the jury might be mothers. They hear just that. Damn, the mother got shot, and they rapping about, I shot your mama, now you don't mention me. You convicted.
Yeah.
You convicted. So, but these cats that's on the streets today ain't paying attention to or taking the time out to go through and read all of that like you did.
Yeah.
So we gonna continue to do what we do, turn up and all that other shit.
I read it. I brought a lawyer in. Like I brought, the investigative journalist in who had been following this case. Like I'm like, let's really dig into it and see what's really going on. Right. And it's like
it's serious.
There's a lot of self-implication in this particular case. There's a lot of, there's songs by Young Thug where he's mentioning all the different gangs that he's affiliated himself with. There's the constant gang signs. There's this, there's that. There's lyrics all over the place. There's recorded conversations. They have text group chats where Young Thug said that anyone who goes to court and cooperates is going to get fucking killed. Like, like stuff like that just makes it look very bad. And here's my prediction. I've mentioned this in a couple of different interviews. We live in a very weird place right now in America where you have these ridiculous lawsuits with just unbelievable dollar amounts for corporations that are associated with certain things. Like, for example, I think Remington, who makes the AR-15, got sued for had to pay $1 billion because the family of one of these school victims showed that, they're marketing these guns to unstable individuals. So therefore, the gun manufacturer has to dish out this money. Recently you have the situation where, like the Sesame Street situation where a Sesame Street character didn't wave at a little black girl. So now the family wants $25 million from Sesame Street. So here's what I predict is going to happen. Young Thug is signed to 300 Entertainment. 300 Entertainment is owned by Warner Brothers, right? Now, let's just say, Young Thug is facing like 50 years. So unless he wants to risk that and take it to trial, there's a very high chance he's going to take a plea deal.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Let's just say they give him a plea deal for 15 years and his lawyer's like, yo, this is going to be the best deal you're going to get. Like, I know it's a lot, but yo, you're looking at life otherwise. So let's just say that Young Thug takes this plea deal. And in the plea deal, you have to admit to all the things that you do, right? You have to say, I did this, I got this person. Because there's a murder in the heart of this whole case.
Right.
Like a rival gang leader got killed and Young Thug rented the car that did the shooting, right? So let's just say in the plea deal, somewhere deep in this plea deal, there is a confession by Young Thug, a plea that says, yes, this lyric about YFN Lucci's mother is about my involvement in her shooting, right? That's part of my plea deal. The mother can then go get a lawyer and say, look, Your Honor, Warner Brothers has marketed this artist lyrics about shooting me. I want $1 billion.
She can get paid.
And think about the chain reaction that will then happen after that. That will set a precedent with major labels of gangster rappers that they have on their labels. They're now going to be liable, financially liable, for these lyrics that are gang related, that are based on reality.
Cut that shit out and stop this gang rapping and all that shit at once.
I'm honestly thinking this is not necessarily a bad thing.
So
that maybe this needs to just go back to being an underground genre again. Because it's still going to happen. People are still going to rap about it. You're not going to stop it. But it'll be stopped on a major label and it won't be on the Billboard charts and so forth.
Right.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, it's not, because we're not coming up, and I'm speaking for me and black people, we're not coming up with a solution, a way how to fix this situation with these young men. We're not coming up with no solutions. So, but we're going to be quick to accept whatever the fuck is given to us or what we're told we can't do no more. We're going to accept it. And that's how it's always been. So, motherfuckers need to recondition their mind. They need to take a look at this shit that's happening now and reassess their situations. Do you really want to, why wait until you get all this fucking money and now you want to be a fucking gangster? That wasn't part of your life then, it shouldn't be now. And everybody that tried to do this has failed. Big time. Name one motherfucker that came out here that was a college student and then came and became a gangster and rich. Well, there's a couple of them, but the average motherfucker don't make it, man. It don't make it. So, and then we quick to blame, oh, the white people did it. White people ain't made you go shoot this motherfucker. They damn sure didn't make me do it. I wasn't brainwashed. So we gotta fix that shit. And until we do that, we're going to be able to talk about this on every fucking interview, and they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop.
Well, since last time, Draco the Ruler, an LA rapper, was killed backstage at Once Upon a Time in LA. You heard about that situation?
Yeah.
He was actually stabbed to death backstage. And this is, I remember, his manager, TK, called me afterwards, TK Barron, and we had a long conversation on this. And he kind of explained to me that this is the first time an artist has been killed backstage at their own show. You just never hear of this happening. People get killed coming back from the show. They get killed at a studio. They get killed at eating lunch.
It's so
but
easy now
to be at an actual show that you're being paid to perform at, and it's a Live Nation event, to then dying because you get mobbed by a group of people that you're allegedly beefing with, is really sad. I interviewed the guy when he just got out of prison. He's a cool guy, man, and he was really buzzing and really doing his thing. But you also have to take a step back and say, look at the role that he played in this whole thing. Shortly before, he made a song called Ingleweird, where he dissed Inglewood, a whole city full of people who are proud of their city. I'm not saying one has to do with the other, but I'm just saying that this is the type of energy you're putting out.
It all coincides with each other. And like I said, see, what we fail to realize is sometimes we got to learn how to keep our motherfucking mouth shut and not speak on certain individuals, because that individual you're speaking on got more energy than you do. And he can, something can happen. And bad things happen to motherfuckers that to us when we get to running off at the mouth and then just overlook it. Let it go. But that person don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like I said, man, we have to do better. And, you know, just people in general, not just black people, but we all got to do better. And, you know, these cats out here ain't understanding that. They looking at the money they make in a day. Nobody has longevity on their mind. I'm gonna make this money and go off and live. They don't have longevity.
Yeah, I mean, Slim 400 got killed.
Right.
I interviewed him as well. Jay the Youngin just got killed the other day, 24 years old.
Man, you
I interviewed
stop
him.
saying that, Vlad, before they gonna be like, Vlad mentioned everyone got killed that he interviewed. Better watch him.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Everyone that I interviewed does not get killed. Like that's.
I'm just bringing a little sense.
But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of black men, way too many young black men who I have interviewed. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right.
FBG Duck, Mo3. Like literally, I make lists sometimes just to see how bad it is, and it's like,
Like,
yo, this is
damn.
crazy. And a lot of these guys, like the FBG Ducks and the Mo3s, in my interview, I'm telling them you should move out. Like I'm seeing this pattern already, and I've seen this pattern too many times. Right? Yo, listen, you've already gotten shot once. You've already been shot at. Your brother has already been killed. Like, this is not going to work out in your city.
Right.
Nah, man, I'm good. I know how to move. Nah, man, I feel comfortable here. Ain't no one going to touch me. No one chasing me. I don't need security. This, that, the third. You know, FBG Duck got killed in the equivalent of Rodeo Drive of Chicago. Right? Imagine someone getting killed on Rodeo Drive. It sounds crazy, right? But that's essentially what happened.
Everybody is potentially can get got. You know what I'm saying? But just like I was when I was a youngster, power meant everything. Being recognized meant everything. For people to look at you and, oh, that's Mob James, oh, woo, woo. It meant everything to me. It gave me that sense of power. But the cool part about that is you got to know how to possess it. You got to know how to hold on to it. You got to know how to deal with that type of power. Some cats don't, and they make mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes.
And it's not real power.
Yeah, it's power.
Is it though?
It's power.
Is it until the police step in and then
No.
everyone runs?
No, it's power. That's part of the game. We chalk that up as part of the game. Who wants to go through all of that shit?
Well, I'm just saying that if I remember reading Monster Cody's book,
Right.
right? Rest in peace, Monster Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever know him at all?
No, I heard of him.
You heard of him though.
Yeah.
And he talks about how, as a gangster, he was a 8-tray, right?
Right.
8-tray Crip. He said that as a 8-tray gangster, we will sit there on our block and shoot it out with as many enemies that will come. We could be outnumbered 10-1, right? He was probably talking about the Rolling 60s because that's what they've been beefing with forever, right? Like whatever. 1,000 Rolling 60s will come out. We'll stay there. We'll fight, whatever. One police car will roll through. We'll all scatter.
That's a true fucking statement.
Yep. One police car.
That's a
with
true-
one cop in there. We'll all scatter. And
The
he's like,
dynamics is different.
see what I'm saying though?
See, people that don't live the hood don't understand that part. Us, the dynamic is we don't want to have nothing to do with that black and white. But we sit here and risk our life to fight each other because what I stand for is totally different than what he stands for.
And this is what I mean by it's not really true power. If it's true power, then fuck the police, fuck the government. I'm going to build my own shit. You know, and you see that type of shit in other countries. Like you go to Brazil, you go to the favelas out there where the police don't go in there. whatever drug lord is running that particular little hill,
Right.
you know, with the 200 residents, the 200, I've been up there.
Right.
I've been through there. You go up there and there's kids on the roof with rifles.
Right. I think if
We need a special permission to go in there at all. And the police cannot just roll up in there whenever they
those
feel like it.
rules, that's like in the projects. The projects didn't let the police come through there. But street shit, not built like that. Ain't thinking like that. Ain't on that page. Totally different from Saudi Arabia and some shit like that. Totally different. Our mentalities wouldn't take us to that point. We just on some gang banging shit, and the police was in the middle of our shit. So we gonna avoid them motherfuckers. So if that one car came, I could tell the same story.
Yeah.
We just do a drive-by, and you know you done dropped 3 motherfuckers, but the police come, turn the sirens on, you pull over and put your hands in the air. Motherfucker, we got AKs in this motherfucker. Why we don't get out the car and shoot them motherfuckers and get on? No. Ain't thinking like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Motherfuckers give up.
That's what I'm saying. So if you want to talk about real power, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not trying to disrespect anyone who feels that way.
Right.
But if you just take a step back, and you got to take some, because you get caught up in your own little world, like your own little microcosm, and
Right.
think that you're the lord and the king of this domain and so forth. If someone can come in and just, I'm sure Larry Hoover felt like he was on top of the world. He could bring 1,000 people out and so forth, until they gave him those 6 life sentences, and he realized, I guess I did not have as much power as I thought.
See,
I did.
Vlad, that's where you're wrong, because in prison, he could still be like that. He could still be in prison.
And he got caught doing that, and that's how it got into 6 life sentences, because they're saying, according to the authorities, that he continued to run this organization in prison until they put him in a place. See what I'm saying? Until the people with the real power said, oh, you're doing this now. Okay.
See, that's different type of power, though. See, you got to understand what type of power I'm talking about. When you hang in with 10 people and you go to another hood, and when you go to that other hood and everybody come, oh, what's up, homie? And what you drinking? I got you. But the 9 cats with you went off for shit. You know what I'm saying? They looking at you, the big homie. This one with the business. And then all the girls flock to you because your name rings.
Yeah.
Power. Like, do it make sense? But it makes sense
For that moment.
to an average person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being able to go where you want, when you want, to have and get what you want. It could be small things.
Yeah.
But I'm getting it because of a name. I'm getting it because of what I've done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, as we get older, man, listen, I'm 49, you're in your 50s.
Yeah.
You take a look back on it, you're fighting for blocks you don't own.
Nothing.
Most times those houses aren't even in your name.
Nothing.
You're renting from someone who doesn't even come in the neighborhood ever.
Exactly.
Who lives out in Beverly Hills somewhere, and
purpose was-
they own 300 properties around
Right.
LA. Some happens to you, they'll find a new renter in there.
Right.
They don't give a shit. They're not going to bail you out because you've been living there for 20 years. Nah. Oh, you can't pay rent anymore? Okay, you're evicted. Who's next?
But that's still the hood. I can still go back to the hood. The house gone. I like my mom when my mom's passed, my sister sold a house in Compton.
Yeah.
I thought it would keep my nephews away from Compton. No, they still go to Compton. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to have a house in this lot to say this the hood.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of the hood, when I interviewed Reggie Wright Sr., one of the things I brought up was the rumor that he actually witnessed your brother Buntry's murder and that he didn't return fire and so forth.
No.
Boy, it's amazing. I've heard some fantasies or some people making up stuff. According to what I heard, they said that I was in the car with Buntry in the truck, the Tahoe, with Buntry when he stopped at the gas station to get gas, and I was supposed to be with him in the car. I went in to pay for the gas, and when I came out, the guys were shooting up Buntry, and I refused to shoot because I should have had a gun, and I ran. That's the story.
He said that was all nonsense.
That's all
He said he
bullshit.
wasn't even. He said he was at home asleep when that shit
The
happened.
little homeboy was with him And you know, once again, that's just people talking. I doubt if Reggie would have been in a car with Alton, and then let alone
Reggie Sr.
Yeah, Reggie Sr.
Yeah.
Reggie, it's when I heard it, and I heard it like a month after he was killed, that Reggie was with him, and Reggie shot back, so Reggie no. Todd, the little homeboy, Todd Stick, rest in peace, was with him. And Todd Stick got out the car and ran away. You know what I'm saying? People was mad at him because of that. He's getting out of the line of fire. I don't want to get killed. So it wasn't nothing wrong with him getting the fuck out the way. Like everybody, you know, Reggie wasn't there, man. It was totally bullshit.
Your daughter is now out of prison.
Yeah.
How much time did she do?
4 years.
Okay.
3 years, 11 months, let's say almost 4 years.
4 years. 4 years. But you still are taking care of her son.
Yeah.
Does she plan on taking custody back?
I don't want her to.
Uh-huh. Is it really your choice, though?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And my plan was for my daughter to come home, get her job, then she can seek her place, and come get your son. Papa done. Papa tired. Papa want to go out. You know, Papa want a relationship. My daughter want to do her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and say I've been to prison so I know what she feels since she been home, or want to just hang and let her hair loose. No, that's done. You got 2 kids.
Oh, she has 2 kids.
Yeah.
Where is her other child?
Amaya's with her father, and I got Lionel.
With her father.
My granddaughter is with her dad,
Okay.
and I took Lionel.
Okay. So she has neither child right now.
No.
It's kind of, not very common when it comes to a mother. Usually the mom comes in.
You would think all her fucking instincts would come out, and a mother bear protects her cubs.
Yeah.
You would think that she would come home and well, she did come home and embrace her kids, but she felt like she was missing something in the street. I ain't gonna say I can relate to that, but I know something. I've been there. I want to be in the streets. I'm fresh out of prison. I want to hang out. But for her to be a mother, I think she should have embraced her kids. I think she should have came home and came home to us. She had her own and her everything at my house. You don't have to worry about shit. I just want you to get a job. You ain't got to catch no bus or nothing. I'm going to get your car. You work for a year, and then when you get your place, then I can be comfortable when Lionel leave my home and go to yours, go with you. Mm-hmm. But that year, you're showing me that all that other shit is out your system. So I'm protecting him at this time. And, I love my daughter. She a grown-ass woman. But I can't, and I will not follow her to see what she's doing or focus on her like that. So I allow her to do what she do. And I maintain Lionel.
How old is she now?
She's 28.
28. Well, I hope that, at the end of the day, I think kids belong with the mother most times. Yeah. So I hope that she stabilizes her life and takes both of her kids.
I do too.
And learns from the mistakes that she's made, right. Never goes back to prison again. And is it because there's 2 different dads?
Yes.
For the kids?
Yes. Well, Lionel's father is doing 17.
Oh, so he's not coming home anytime soon.
So, he's been in there since mom's passed, since 2018.
So 4 years in, he's got another 13 years to go.
Yeah, so he don't do the whole 17. He's trying to get 5 of that taken off.
Okay.
So if they take off 5 of that, that's 9.
8 years, yeah.
So he have about 3.5, 4 years left. 3
Okay.
years.
All right.
So hopefully that'll happen. Nino has his own phone where he talks to his pops every day.
Nice.
And, he know who his father is.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? I make sure that. But, with mommy being home, he started off, Auntie. And she, boy, I'm your mama. And he like,
He's calling her auntie.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then he say, for real? You my mama?
Oh, wow.
Are you the lady on the picture in my room? And she said, yeah, boy. So mama, what you doing now? Now he know, he recognize, he understand who she is. So don't change it and try to take it away from him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And disappear.
Yeah.
So as long as he got his grandpa, man, he good. He's out of harm's way. He ain't got to worry about being hurt by nothing and nobody.
Well, I interviewed Reggie Wright Jr.
Right.
after our last interview.
Okay.
Is he ever going to come back to Gangster Chronicles?
I want him to. I think, and I'm more worried about him right now with his health and how his situation. Fuck Gangster Chronicles at this point. Anything at this point, Reg, you need to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, when he came over, we needed to get like a special, we paid for a special type of van
Right.
to help, because he's in a wheelchair,
Right.
to help bring him over, because he's still
Right.
suffering from the, what he went through with COVID and everything else like that. I mean, but he is talking and he is lucid and everything else like
Yeah.
that. But I mean, he's still suffering from.
Well, I think he a little more than what he led us to believe. I think if he paid more attention to getting his health together, I think he'll be all right. He gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I worry about him. I worry about the dude when, he sound funny. I'm on him. You know what I'm saying? But I think he needs to start focusing on himself opposed to this podcast and all this other bullshit that's going on.
Where is the Gangster Chronicles? Is it still an active?
Yeah, we still doing it.
So is it an every week thing, or is there a hiatus?
We do one every week.
Okay. And MC8's still part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Norm and you, right?
We still doing it. After that bullshit with the FG and all of them cats, I had to say, hold the fuck up. But then I had to realize that the doors is open for me or anybody to come after me and say anything about me, especially if they feel like I'm here, so let's get this motherfucker to speak and talk and we can go back and forth and argue with this dude. So the doors is open. So I get it. But after that, I had to just really just bag the fuck up from Norm and everybody else to readjust.
Well, final question. One of our members actually brought this question up, STF Fat Boy. I actually think this is a great final question. And he wants me to ask you, if you could ask God to forgive you for one thing, what would it be?
My crimes, the things that I've done to people, and I pray for it every day. Damn, I'm getting witch calm already. That's cold. I pray every day that he forgive me for all the bullshit I've done, for the people I've hurt. It's crazy because when I asked for this, how can you give me a kid to take care of? And I don't even trust myself. I didn't trust myself. So I hurt people. I did some stupid shit. How do you even trust me with a kid? I pray for it every day. To be forgiven for the shit I've done in my life.
Well, that's how we're going to end it.
Yeah.
That was some real shit, right?
Because I'm trying not to drop this motherfucking tail on your shit.
Yeah.
But that was a cold ass question. I fight it every day, Black.
Yeah.
I don't know if my prayers been answered or heard, so I just try. I keep trying every day. And, with people trying to attack, first thing I thought was, just get your fucking guns and solve it like you normally solve it. Go after these motherfuckers and kill them. But who am I to speak to kids and do all this other shit, feeling like just at a drop of a dime, go back to Mom James. Nah, it ain't working. So I'm gonna stick with what I feel and the change your heart thing and being a pussy, a nerd, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. I like it better this way. So I pray every day, Dad, every night. Just forgive me for my crimes.
That's what it is. Mob James McDonald. I appreciate you coming in, man.
All the time.
All the best. Peace.